Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video I wanted to share with you a very quick and easy, soft, monochromatic, warm toned, flattering fall makeup look. That's as many adjectives as I could come up with, but this is the general type of a look that I'm going to be showing you how to achieve today. And you don't have to have the exact product I'm going to be using, so you can kind of create this type of a look with different products, whatever you have on hand. And I'm just really excited to share this with you because this is just such a good look for fall. It's flattering, it's wearable, it is just like my go-to. So without further ado, we are going to be jumping right into this video and getting started, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. All right, so I'm going to begin by applying foundation. This is Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk, which is one of my favorite foundations, but you can use whatever you want, whatever works good for you. But if you're looking for a very good foundation, albeit expensive, this is definitely a good one. Okay, so up next I'm going to take my concealer for my acne and just conceal a few quick spots here. Some days I don't have a lot to conceal, other days I do, so this step takes a bit of time depending on the situation I have going on with my skin. But all right, that's going to be good enough for today. Now up next we're going to be concealing our under eyes. Obviously a lot of these steps you probably already kind of can guess what's happening next, but today I'm going to take my favorite under eye concealer, which is No. 7 Lift and Illuminate Serum Concealer, and I'm just going to pop this underneath my eyes and a little bit down my nose and around my nose because I have some redness there. All right, I'm going to blend things out. All right, so next I'm going to grab my blush. This is by Glossier and it's called Cloud Paint Color Dusk. You can use whatever blush you want. You can apply powder next and use powder blush, or you can do cream blush. But I like this one in particular because the color here looks very close to, like, it looks like a skin tone color. It kind of looks like a bronzer a little bit, but in a blush version. So it's not like very bright and like blushy. So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to grab a IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe Complexion Perfection All Over brush. Wow, that was a name and a half. I love this brush, specifically this side, for blending out cream blushes. The only downside with applying a cream blush on top of possible acne spots is that sometimes the acne ends up showing through because you end up moving your foundation. So if you have a lot of acne that you're trying to keep concealed and you really want to make sure that it's like pristinely concealed, I would actually probably apply powder, set everything first, and then go in with like powder blushes and powder bronzer, because then you're not going to be moving concealer around. All right, so you see how it's kind of like a very natural, very subdued blush. I think it's perfect for this kind of a look. It's very wearable. It's really just a good blush for like an everyday kind of a reach, grab, apply, and go kind of a situation. All right, so next I'm going to take Jason Wu's Woo Prime Eye eyeshadow primer, which I recently tested out and really liked. I don't always wear eyeshadow primer. I honestly didn't even have an eyeshadow primer for the longest time because the one I used to have got kind of old and I didn't replace it. So it's not a necessary step, but I think if you have a good eyeshadow primer, your eyeshadows do look better. So if you can bother with it, probably a good idea to apply it. I'm going to take this Airbrush Flawless Finish powder by Charlotte Tilbury, and I'm just gonna go ahead and set my whole face with it. I don't like to apply too much powder because I just don't necessarily look good when my face is like overly powdered. But here's the thing, I produce a lot of oil and my smile lines here can collect product and move product around. So like it's kind of a balance between making sure your face is nicely powdered but not overly powdered. I do like this powder a lot because I think it really does powder your face well, but it also does not look like you're wearing a ton of powder. All right, up next I'm going to be grabbing this Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula, which is one of my favorite bronzers in the drugstore world. And I'm going to go ahead and apply this lightly on my face. Now you don't have to use this exact bronzer, and that goes for everything I'm using, but I would recommend using a bronzer because I think that when you're doing a warm tone look, it's nice to warm up your skin as well and just like make it a little bit more bronzed for lack of a better word. But obviously you don't have to use this one. You don't even have to use a bronzer that's necessarily like too warm toned if you don't think that looks best on you. Whatever color works. Oh, I see a lot of creasing going on in my eyes here, but we'll fix that shortly with a little bit of shadows. Just gonna add a little bit of that same bronzer in my hairline because I don't like when the forehead and like the hairline are not the same color, because it just looks like you're wearing bronzer. Like, you know, it looks very fake and unconvincing. And I'm not saying that people are gonna be like, oh wow, she's just naturally like bronzed like this, like she wakes up like this. No one's gonna think that, but I don't want them to be like, oh wow, there's a line of like mismatch in your hairline. All right, and I'm going to add a little bit on my nose. This may not work for you, I don't know, but I would say if you're just curious and want to experiment how to kind of contour your nose, this might be a good like thing to try. So what I do is I take the bronzer and I literally just add the bronzer on the tip of my nose, because my nose isn't really like, it's not really straight, it's kind of misshapen a little bit, so contouring doesn't really look right on me. And I also find that sometimes contouring doesn't look good in like the daylight because you have lines on your face essentially, and it looks probably really good in photos like straight on, but if you're turning in daylight, like it probably looks strange unless you're very good at it or you have like the nose for it. But I don't. So what I do is I literally take the bronzer and I just add a little bit on the tip of my nose. This makes it look like sun hit my face and bronzed my nose, so it kind of looks like a tan. But even though it does look natural and a little bit like a tan, what it's doing is it's making the like large part of my nose smaller because it's a dark color. So that's kind of my little nose contouring routine. The best bronzer for this technique is one that has a little bit of a sheen, because if you're using an all matte bronzer, you're gonna make your nose look kind of like flat, and that's not gonna look natural because you're gonna want to have a little bit of shine on the tip of your nose so that it looks three-dimensional, if that makes any sense. So this bronzer is good for that kind of a contouring because it's got a little bit of a sheen. You can see it's not making my nose look too flat. But that is my technique. And then I'm just gonna take the powder brush I used before and I'm just gonna go around my nose just to soften the edges, because sometimes I can go a little bit overboard with this. All right, up next we're moving on to eyes, and first I'm going to just very quickly apply some eyeliner on my eyes. This is MAC Teddy, my favorite, and what I like to do is I just like to apply a little bit on the lash line, and I'm literally just kind of quickly applying this because what I'm gonna do next is I'm going to smudge it. All right, sometimes I literally just do this if it's like a quick day, but obviously this is much more elaborate of a fall look, so I'm not gonna stop here today. But sometimes this is literally all I do. I also add a little bit in my waterline. And this is a really nice color for fall, and if you feel like a very dark eyeliner just is too heavy for you, this is a beautiful option because it's like the perfect color brown, and it also has a little bit of like metallic sheen to it, so it looks almost finished, like with just the eyeliner on, you know what I mean, because it has a little bit of sheen to it, so it kind of looks like you put in a little bit more effort than just like applying eyeliner on your eyes. So I love this one. It's such a good eyeliner, good formula, good color, beautiful finish. So this just added a little bit of darkness, but it's very soft, very muted, and very wearable for every day. All right, up next we're going to be moving on to the eyeshadows. I'm going to be using the Toasted Tartelette palette by Tarte. This is a new palette to me. I just got it this year. Two colors I don't love here because I feel like they create like chunky glitter fallout for me are Crackle and Candle. So these are the two colors I don't really use from this palette, but everything else I do, and I think it's a very beautiful palette. All right, I'm gonna begin by applying a color called S'more on my lids here. This is just a very nice desaturated lighter color that I can apply just so that I have a nice powder base to work with. Next, I'm going to take a color called Latte, which, by the way, I am drinking a pumpkin spice latte. So I'm going to take this latte color. I'm just going to go ahead and add it kind of all over my lid, but focusing on the outer part and in the crease area. So this is not very precise. This is just softly layering washes of color. Now you can tell I'm not being very precise here, and I'm also not using very dramatic shades because I'm literally just trying to layer colors on that are similar to my skin color but just are a little bit warmer and a little bit darker. And you can obviously customize the colors you choose based on what your skin shade, undertone is, and all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and add this on the other eye. I love this palette because the colors here are beautiful and wearable, but also the formulations are super easy to blend and they're just easy to work with. All right, I'm going to take the same latte color and a smaller brush, and I'm going to add this on the bottom lash line, but focusing on the outer part of the eye. Now, this is not a rule. This is just something that looks better on me, but you can obviously go in all the way if that looks better on you. I think I'm probably going to go for a color called Simmer. And I'm just going to apply this on my lid, focusing in the middle, but then also kind of blending it and shearing it out towards the either end here. And I'm going to, I think, take the same shimmery color and just add it underneath my eyes. I'm going to take S'more color, again, the first one I took, and I'm just going to add a little bit of this color on the outside, or like the upper part of the eye, just because I think I might have brought the color of this eyeshadow a little bit too far. So I'm just gonna kind of soften the edges here. And last but not least, for the grand finale of our eyeshadows, I'm going to take my finger because I don't have a brush here that is clean that I can use, but obviously use a brush if you have a clean one. And I'm going to take a color called Sunrise, which is a beautiful, slightly shimmery light color. And I'm going to pop this very, very gently on the inner part of my eye. Okay, we are done with eyeshadows, and this is the final finished look. Obviously, it's very, very simple, very quick, and again, the key is just to create very soft washes of color and layer a nice shimmery color on top that is kind of similar to the color you used on your like crease and outer part of the eye, and that just kind of helps to soften everything out and gives your eyeshadows a very nice finish and just makes everything look a little bit more elevated, but like with pretty much zero effort. It's great. All right, I'm going to take mascara now. Now the color here is brown, and I would recommend, if you're trying to create a soft warm tone look, to go for some version of a brown mascara because that's just gonna fit better with the overall coloring here. All right, I usually do 2 coats of mascara on top lashes and 1 on the bottom lashes. All right, so while mascara is drying, I'm going to do my brows, which is probably my least favorite part because it's always nerve-wracking because my brows aren't very even. Like they just take a lot of love and care. But my tip to you, because I think brows are personal and you probably already have a routine for your brows, my tip is you have to ideally make your brows look very soft for this kind of a look. Otherwise, I don't think it's gonna match. If you have like softer eyeshadows and very stark brows, like it's just gonna seem a little bit mismatched. And my 2 favorite ways of creating like a softer brow look is A, having a spoolie in hand so you can kind of brush whatever product you're applying through, but also either using a powder like this. I have Jason Wu, which I recently tried, which I really liked, and I also have the Anastasia Beverly Hills Powder Duo product. And then another 2 products I use sometimes, and sometimes I kind of combine powder and this product, which is a brow pencil. This is Anastasia Beverly Hills. I have the wider pencil and the thinner pencil, and I like them both. But I think I'm going to start out with the powder and just kind of add a very nice light wash of color. And then we'll kind of see where things go here. And I'm just kind of mixing these 2 colors together. And I think also the key is not to make them soft and hazy. Like, you do want to have them be defined, but also have them be soft at the same time. And that balance is not only key, but it's also very hard to find, for me anyway. All right, I'm going to grab a pencil now and just kind of soften the edges, or at least work on the edges of my brows a little bit, just to try to kind of, again, create that soft but defined brow shape that I'm struggling to achieve on a daily basis. All right, so as far as my brows, I think this is the look I'm going to end up with for today. Some days my brows look better, some days they look worse. I just kind of try my best to, again, make them look as soft as possible but yet defined. And I find that powders in combination with pencils and spoolie just give me the best results. But obviously, if you have better brows, you're in better shape. All right, we're moving on to lips, which is a very exciting part of this video because this is going to make things start to kind of come together and take shape. All right, so before I apply my lip liner, I'm going to apply a little bit of lip balm, because not only does that moisturize lips, it also makes the lip liner glide on very easily. Just don't overdo it, because then the lip liner will not deposit a lot of color. So for today's video, I'm going to be using a MAC lip liner in a color called Strip Down. Very saucy. All right, we're going to go in, and I'm going to attempt to overline my lips just a little bit, because I mean, it's obvious why, but you don't have to, obviously, just whatever you think looks good on you. All right, lip liner is on. I'm actually going to add a little bit of powder because my forehead is starting to be a little bit shiny, so is the rest of my face. So now we're going to be moving in with Buxom lip gloss. This is a fall release lip gloss, and I've mentioned that in my fall launch video as well. It's a beautiful plumping lip gloss. It's not overly plumping, so it's not like overly zingy, you know, but it does plump your lips a little bit, I feel like, and nonetheless it makes them look very beautiful. It's a fall color. The name here is Pippa Pumpkin, so it's a very fall themed, like everything about this gloss. The smell here is also very fall. It kind of smells like fire and pumpkins and like kind of all the fall scents thrown in here a little bit. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and apply this. It's a beautiful color. Now, let me just see what else I could possibly add to my look. I was gonna say pile on my face, but let's be more civil here. Let's move the hair back. Let me just step out because my look's gonna look better if I'm not like so zoomed in showing you my acne and like making weird faces while I'm applying the makeup here. All right, so this is the final finished look for this video. I just love this one. I go for this kind of a makeup look all the time because it's so quick and easy. You can use different products here and still go for this kind of a look. You don't have to have anything in particular or anything specific that I mentioned. You can kind of modify this look to suit you and whatever products you have, and it's just so like wearable and it makes you look good as well. I think like this kind of a makeup look is not an artistic makeup look that's about makeup. It's about you. It's about making you look good, and it's about making you look good for fall. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more future videos about makeup and style and just all the little tips and tricks that I want to share with you and the products I want to test out, because there's so many products out there that are just really interesting and I think would be fun to test out in the upcoming months. If you have any suggestions of what those products could be, leave those in the comment section below. But on that note, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you are ready for this fall season, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!